DMCA copyrights owned by Roxanne Grinage. Higher Lyrics Administrative Services. U.S. Citizens Control Public Docket Database. Grinage Family. Grinage Family Private Investigation. Rescue 6810. Abusive parent mob abducted children of Lorraine Grinage. And rigorously counterclaim. Willing to accept service in the U.S. Eastern District Court for Pennsylvania at our business address registered with Pennsylvania Secretary of State and U.S. Department of Treasury. Higher Lyrics Administrative Services, U.S. Citizens Control Public Docket Database, P.O. Box 22225. That's 4 2s and a 5. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19136. Our toll-free number is 888-589-1110. Our fax number is 215-405-2939, and we prefer electronic service at our company email box, Dignity for the Human Spirit at higherlyrics.org. U.S. Citizens Control Public Docket Database is a demonstration of an administrative solutions tool which measures individual accountability for official corruption, fraud, and civil rights, and which is working to slow a nationwide child slaughter, U.S. economy fraud, court and education reform, public safety state of emergency. The administrative solution, the series is referred to as Docket Never Lies, Child Slaughter, U.S. Economy Fraud, Court and Education Reform, Public Safety Emergency, is measured in docket analysis. God bless everyone. Strongest prayers for the rescue of children of all ages.
Message from
Lazaro SNL. Hello, today's date, September 11, 2011. My name is Jesus Lazaro Escenaro. I'm Jesus Lazaro Escenaro, and this is my story. I want to be published on any record considering my Alaska court docket 3AN06-12354CI, Escenaro versus Flannery, presiding judge Sharon L. Gleason. On September 8, 2011, I transmitted my fax to Florida Senator Marco Rubio along with privacy consent form, my notarized sworn affidavit alerting U.S. Senate Judicial Committee and the RICO Indictment Act of Alaska Judge Sharon Gleason, performed with my ex-sister-in-law, attorney-at-law Marissa K. Flannery, who is a partner in a powerful Washington, D.C. global practicing law firm, Sonosky, Chambers, Sashi, Miller, and Munson/LLP, utilizing her influence with the Senate, Lisa Murkowski, and Senator Mark Begich to aid and abet in repeated acts of unlawful and reckless child endangerment, and what analysis of my docket, SNR versus Flannery, demonstrates in a systematic kidnap for a profit scheme with OCS, Office of Children's Services, employee Casey M. Groth. Here are the opening words of my affidavit to the FBI. Americans with an interest in equality of life for America and can see all pertinent evidence, testimony, and verification on a case study page with responsible records respectfully reported the Child Slaughter U.S. Economic Fraud Court and Education Reform Public Safety Emergency post by RICO indictable Judge Sharon L. Gleason, being nominated or confirmed as a district court judge.
Message from
Lazaro. Continuing my statement on my affidavit, I, Jesus L. Escenaro, through the Office of Florida Marco Rubio, is submitting a sworn affidavit to comprehend the rules of perjury, respectfully requesting the Federal Bureau of Investigation to conduct a proper and thorough investigation by reviewing the entire exhibits A through A14 that will demonstrate in evidentiary fashion of state and federal crimes such as RICO Act, prima of conspiracy between named parties being committed, obstruction of justice from perjury, withholding evidence and material information, fabrication evidence, fraud on the court, color of law, misprision of felonies, violations of attorney conduct code, judicial canon, and public office rules and regulations and various state and federal laws, all culminating in the kidnapping of my daughter. The evidence will reveal corruption within the family courts between judges, attorneys, and Office of Children's Services to the extent of the Alaska state agencies such as the Alaska Bar Association, the Alaska Judicial Misconduct, and the Ombudsman's Office working together to conspire to aid and abet the crimes to cover up public office corruption. Mr. Esenar's allegations are also supported in part by a court docket from Ted Stevens, a YouTube video from Senator Nancy Schaefer, Alaska Supreme Court judge by Justice Morgan Christian, and my ex, Chandra L. Flannery's testimony on August 4th, 2011, contradicting her sister's attorney-at-law Marissa K. Flannery's affidavit. We will be revealing the corruption within the family courts by officers of the court. Mr. Esenar is respectfully requesting the Federal Bureau of Investigation to submit indictments to these alleged perpetrators, including but not limited to OCS social worker Casey Grote, attorney-at-law Marissa K. Flannery, attorney-at-law Stephen J. Priddle, a law firm Shanuski, Chambers, Sashi, Anderson, and Perry /LLP, Judge Sharon Gleason, Judge Andrew Gwenny, Assistant Attorney General Carla Richmond, the Alaska Bar Association Counsel Stephen J. Van Gore, Assistant Bar Counsel Louis Driscoll, and Donald McClinton, the Alaska Misconduct Judicial Commission Executive Director Marla Greenstein, and the Alaska Ombudsman's Office Gwen Byington.
Message from
Continuing. Obstruction of justice is a criminal offense of interference with number one, administration of process of law, withholding material information, or giving false testimony. 3, harming or intimidating a juror, witness, or an officer of the law. The crime of obstruction of justice generally includes crimes committed by judges, prosecutors, attorney generals, and elected officials. It is considered as a misdemeanor or non-misdemeanor as a conduct of office. However, prosecutors and attorneys commit obstruction of justice when they fail to prosecute judges and other government officials for malfeasance or non-malfeasance in office. In fact, the state of Alaska from Office of Children's Services confirmed the mother of my child was substantially neglectful in 4 consecutive years by 4 different OCS social workers: Pamela Shepard, Kelly Serafine, Casey Grote, and Collingwood. Yet all the evidence and other evidence somehow mysteriously and miraculously vanished from hearings and trials within Judge Sharon Gleason's courtroom 613. In addition, Chandra L. Flannery charge of child neglect and testimony by Officer Simmons from the Anchorage Police Department went mute. Yet how can it be possible that there are mothers within our great nation that are losing their parental rights from simple allegations of child neglect from state agencies such as OCS, DCS, CPS, DSS, and other agencies? What is wrong with this picture? This clearly reveals a culmination of fraud, corruption, obstruction of justice, perjury, hindering prosecution, illegal kidnapping, violation of attorney conduct codes as an officer of the court, and due process, in which Mr. Esenar's constitutional rights, state and federal, were violated within Judge Gleason's courtroom 613. Yet every law enforcement officer, including an officer of the court, state and federal, are sworn under oath or affirmation to preserve, protect, defend the Constitution of the United States. Mr. Esenar's evidence is overwhelming in any other court of the law. The criminal offenses mentioned above practically compelling and infringing upon Mr. Esenar's 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution says that a state may not make a law that abridges the privileges and immunities of citizens of the United States, and no state may deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within jurisdiction the equal protection of the law as clearly defined under Alaska Statute 1176-110A, B, and C, interference with constitutional rights. Mr. Esenar's allegation will be outlined and supported by emails, fax, court documents, billing statements, notarized sworn affidavits, OCS summary reports, pictures, subpoenas, dates, individuals' names, titles, signatures, and testimony through their written or verbal deposition under oath from Attorney-at-Law Michael Gorman, Alberta Flannery, Alaska Supreme Court Morgan Morgan Christian, Judge Jill Stone, former OCS social worker Kelly Serafine, and Pamela Shepard. Kingdom versus U.S.-485, United States 749, 1988. A statement is material if it has a natural tendency to influence or be capable of influencing the decision of the decision-making body to which it is addressed. A statement is material basically if it would make a difference. The false statement must be intentional. Intent can be proven by two types of evidence: direct evidence and circumstances evidence. Direct evidence is anything that proves a point without having a make assumption. For example, a confession is direct evidence if the defendant admitted it. Then there would be no need to make assumptions. Ignore for the moment the fact that people confess to crimes they did not commit at the time. On August the 4th, 2011, state hearing, Chandler L. Flannery /Hall testified under oath that her sister, attorney at law Marissa K. Flannery, law offices of Sonosky, Chambers, Sashi, Anderson, and Perry, LLP, knew about her intoxication, endangering our daughter, and why Marissa was granted third-party custodian of my precious little daughter. As stated on former OCS social worker Kelly Serafine's summary report dated 6/28/2007. Chandler's testimony blatantly indicates numerous of ethical violations such as obstruction of justice, perjury, and conflict of interest 3.7 by attorney at law Marissa K. Flannery, law offices of Sonosky, Chambers, Sashi, Anderson, and Perry /LLP on an affidavit that Judge Sharon Gleason hindered assistance. To this day, Judge Gleason continues to suppress Mr. Sonaro's evidence and violate Mr. Sonaro's due process to the extent that Judge Gleason ordered Mr. Sonaro to seek a psychologist of their own choosing by stating delusion without any physical evidence such as a crime. This is a clear violation of obstruction of justice and a tactic to railroad the truth and evidence. 2. On August the 4th, 2011 state hearing, after Chandler L. Flannery /Hall's testimony, Judge Gleason's obligation and duty as an officer of the court is to report any criminal violations to the appropriate authorities, state or federal. Judge Gleason failed to meet these criteria as an officer of the law and failed to enforce the Constitution of the United States and the Alaska statutes. This is a direct assault upon the Constitution of the United States and Mr. Sonaro's due process, which blatantly demonstrates that Judge Sharon Gleason is hindering assistance to attorney at law Marissa K. Flannery and law officers Sonosky, Chambers, Sashi, Anderson, Perry /LLC by refusing to hold these parties in contempt of court for perjury on a sworn affidavit. Pursuant to Title 11, Crime Law, Chapter 11.56, Offense Against Public Administration, Section 1156.770, A, B, and C. Hindering prosecution is the first degree. I, Jesus Sonaro, am alleging that Judge Sharon Gleason committed a crime of obstruction of justice and hindering assistance either directly or indirectly with attorney at law Marissa K. Flannery and law officers Sonosky, Chambers, Sashi, Anderson, and Perry by allowing a false sworn statement which they know not to be true. As you know, in a prosecution under this section, a person rendering assistance to a person who has committed a crime punishable as a felony, including an officer of the law. It is not a defense that the statement was inadmissible under the rules of evidence.